I want to welcome everybody to another edition into the Invest Podcast. I'm your host, John Ross. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you are in the greater Sacramento area and you're looking for healthy, great tasting food prepped for you, either delivery or available for pickup, Invest in Your Nutrition Meal Prep is Sacramento's brand new healthy meal prep option. Go ahead and log on to investinyourselfpersonalgrowthco.com/menu, and you'll see many of our meal prep options. Also, follow me at All Things Invest with 3T's, and you can DM me to order. And we put out a brand new menu every single week. Invest in Your Nutrition Meal Prep. My next guest I have the privilege of speaking with is a licensed chiropractor. She is a certified and clinical nutritionist with a focus in endocrinology. She is the director of the Lyme and Lotus Healing Arts Center. Her goal is to help women get their hormones balanced, to help them regain their feminine vitality, to help them feel sexy and confident in their own skin, and to help them improve their sexual health. And she does this in a safe and natural way. I would like to welcome Dr. Zagragan to the Invest Podcast. Hope I got that right. Doctor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, John. How are you doing today?
Awesome. When I read about you and I seen what you focused on, I seen that you were a clinical nutritionist. Me being a nutrition coach, me being a fitness trainer, and me putting out a lot of podcasts that really speak to that, I thought that you would definitely be a perfect guest. And a lot of people don't know a lot about endocrinology. A lot of people, we have hormones all in our body, but a lot of people don't actually know that those hormones play a role in the way our body functions, our energy levels, and things like that. So I thought it would be awesome to bring you on because I do know and have read that you are a leading expert in the study of endocrinology. So again, thanks for coming to the Invest Podcast. And I believe my guests are really going to enjoy hearing from you today, Doctor.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Anytime I can talk more about what I do and how people can heal naturally, that's always a fun time for me. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you are the director. That's big. You are the director of the Lyme and Lotus Healing Arts Center in Charleston, South Carolina. So can we go into detail? Just talk a little bit about that. How did you get into that? And
sure.
Definitely.
I wanted to, I'm the director and owner of Lyme and Lotus here in Charleston, South Carolina. And I really wanted to create a facility that would have a number of different providers under one roof. That our goal is to help patients get well, holistically driven, functionally driven. So we have everything from myself doing clinical nutrition and functional endocrinology. We've got massage therapists, estheticians, counselors, occupational therapists, all under one roof. So it really is a nice one-stop shop for people to have a number of different services all in one place.
That is different because normally, normally you got to go over here to get the back rub.
Right.
So you got to go over here to, see the chiropractor. You got to go over here to see the nutritionist. You kind of, bundling that all into one and having that just functional approach, because all of those things definitely can play a role in people's health. So that's unique. I haven't.
Yes.
I really definitely like that. So the concept of that, because that actually I didn't know that. So what made you come up with the concept, like, I'm going to bundle all this under one roof?
I think I had a practice prior to this one, and it was just really focused on chiropractic, and it was just my business and nutrition. And for this one, what I really wanted to do was to create that kind of one-stop shop for people, but also to be able to empower other small business owners, because everyone that's here under my roof, they are not my employees. Each of them owns their own small business, but we're all working under the umbrella of helping our patients and our people get well.
I love that. because a big part of my brand is about is investing in yourself, personal growth, Cal. And we're really big on entrepreneurship. Yes. And we're really big on other entrepreneurs, supporting other entrepreneurs and building other entrepreneurs up. So I definitely believe that's awesome. You guys are kind of there to just support each other. I love it. So I want to ask you, Dr. Z, with all of the career paths out there, you know, you could have been a lawyer, you know, you could have been a veterinarian, you could have been, you know, an astronaut. What made you choose to go into clinical nutrition? I mean, I myself know how important, you know, what you put into your physique plays a big role in performance outside, but what made you personally choose this?
Yeah. Well, just as a side note, I did go to space camp in 5th grade, so I did want to be an astronaut at one point in time.
Lance Armstrong. Oh, okay.
But I knew I really wanted to do something in the field of healthcare and in helping people, and I think that's what drew me to chiropractic to begin with, because my first degree is a bachelor's degree in exercise physiology. From there, I went to chiropractic school and did my doctorate in chiropractic. And then I'm just that dorky kid that likes to learn and wanted to do more in the nutrition realm. So just started doing a master's program in nutrition. And then from there, I did an additional about 500 hours worth of training to also become a certified clinical nutritionist, a certified nutrition specialist, and an applied clinical nutritionist. So I tell my patients I'm trying to get more letters after my name than in my name, and I have a really long name.
Dragon, yeah, I was looking at that.
And I'm only 2 letters away. I don't know what I'll do next. But the reason why I think nutrition has drawn me in more for my practice is because here in Charleston, we have a number of fabulous chiropractors and clinicians. But there's not really a lot of people doing what I would really consider the clinical nutrition side of things or functional endocrinology. You know, so many people, you know, I deal mostly with women, but I have men and children too. But so many people go to the doctor. They know they don't feel right. They get lab work done. They're told they're, quote, normal. And they're like, this, whatever I'm feeling is not normal. Right. And so they really don't leave with a lot of answers. So functional endocrinology, functional, you know, nutrition, whatever you want to call it, is really more in line with looking at the body's balances and figuring out where you might be imbalanced. So a lot of my patients fall into that, I call it the gray zone, where you don't necessarily have a disease state. You know, a lot of patients that I work do have diseases, but you may not have a disease yet, but you're in that gray zone of you're not broken enough yet for them to give you maybe a medical diagnosis or give you medicine or have an option for you. So that's really the realm that I play in with my patients. And there's not a lot of people that do that. And I love doing it, because if you can really start reversing some conditions that people have before they have it, that's pretty powerful stuff.
So doctor, with listening to you, you are pretty much the epitome of investing in yourself, personal growth, Co. All of these achievements, all of these certifications, all these things that you've gotten, they're all pretty much designed to better people's lives, to be able to be of a better use to society. I mean, I know a lot of people will get 1 or 2 things and they'll stop, and you definitely have the growth mindset to just pretty much keep going and never stop. And maybe you're not done yet. I think that's truly amazing. So I want to ask you really quickly, like you said, a lot of people will go to the doctor. The doctor will say, well, there's nothing wrong with you. But again, they know something's wrong with you. So talk a little bit about endocrinology. Talk a little bit about that, kind of explain that more into detail about people, how they might not actually have a disease yet, but since their hormones are out of whack, the car is not running at full capacity, and pretty much they're close to eventually having something, just the doctors, it's not on the radar just yet. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it comes in different areas of the body, and sometimes it depends on your age as well. But, you know, where this shows up as far as symptoms come about in people's lives that they may not really be assessing. People that, you know, have insomnia, that's definitely something going on with the body. Energy issues. So patients of mine that have fatigue, you know, if you sleep for 7 to 9 hours and you wake up tired, something's generally off with your system. Obviously, hormone things, we think of female hormones. If you have problems with your menstrual cycle, if you're having hot flashes, of course, those are ones that kind of are common and that we can think of. Men have those challenges too. You know, they might have issues with their adrenal glands and their energy production and their male hormones that we can deal with as well. So a lot of times, you know, people will go get those hormones tested. Everything looks, quote, normal, but, you know, when we actually look at it functionally, you're in a range where your body's not functioning at 100%. It might be 70%. So if you're okay with 70%, then you're good. But a lot of my patients these days, they strive to do better, to feel better, to just have more functionality as we age. And I think that's really important. Do I want to be 90 in a wheelchair somewhere? Or do I want to be 90 still running a marathon? So it's really about investing in our health, even as early as our 20s, because though what we do then really sets the stage for chronic conditions, longevity, the aging process, etc.
Yeah, I tell people it is never too early to start to take care of yourself and educate yourself about it. And it is never too late
Absolutely.
to do it. Yeah. Like you said, I believe I said it on another one of my podcasts. I believe there's a difference between just living a life, just kind of moping through life, and then living a full and a high quality life. And doctor, I know, taking care of yourself now will definitely have a big impact on, how you are later on in age, and putting what you put into your mouth, supplementation, nutrition just plays such a big role in that. Can you go into it a little bit about, nutrition and why people really need to be cognizant of what they are putting in their body to have themselves running at an optimal level?
Yeah, absolutely. I tell my patients they always say, you are what you eat. I tell my patients, you become what you eat. So if you eat crap, you become crap. If you eat well, you become well. So it's kind of what you put in, you get back out. And I understand we all live in today's society where it's busy, we're all stressed, we have a million things to do. So a lot of times I think people fall back on convenience. So I love that you guys have meal plans for people. That's perfect. That's something that you can invest in your health easily and really not have to think about it and keep the convenience. So I also teach patients, how to eat well, eat less processed foods, eat a variety of foods, try to eat things that aren't packaged, less ingredients. That's the basis of any kind of eating, traditional eating, foundational eating, whatever you want to call it. From, decades and hundreds of years ago, we ate what we found. And if we kind of go back to some of those principles and limit the man-made items that we're consuming, I think we set ourselves up for better health and better longevity.
Yeah, most definitely. So, doctor, I did read that now, you're in your 40s. Am I right?
Yes.
And you tend to feel better now in your 40s than you did maybe in your 20s. So I know you did have just some personal battles with your hormonal balance at some point in time in your life. Am I right, doctor?
Yes. And that's really what started me on the journey to learn more specifically about hormones and really how broken in some aspects the healthcare system is for women with hormone challenges. When I was in chiropractic school, I was going to school 40 hours a week. I had a job. I was bartending 20 hours a week. I was studying for boards. I was getting ready to graduate, to move across country, get married, buy a house, buy practice, like all within a very short amount of time. And I was stressed. And that stress was coming out, in my hormones. Whenever I had my monthly cycle, I was in bed with cramps. I would literally have a migraine so bad that I would vomit, where I literally had to sit home for a couple of days, and my life was being planned around my cycle. And then I knew that it was really dire when I woke up one day and when I was 24 years old with, night sweats. No 24-year-old should be having night sweats at that age. Right. And that's made me reach out to a gynecologist to kind of evaluate what was going on. And he told me that, after running the labs and doing everything, that my labs were normal, but clearly all those symptoms are not normal. But he told me everything was normal and he could either give me birth control or we could do a surgery and just cut out body parts. And neither of those really sat well with me, especially being in chiropractic school, being more holistically minded. And I just thought to myself, there's got to be a different way. How many other women are going to the doctor and getting the same answer when clearly their stuff is not right? So that's where I found out, did more research, learned how to functionally test my hormones. And when I did my, different kind of testing, I found out my estrogen was high, my progesterone was low, my cortisol was high, and I was basically a hot mess. So it was nice to finally have lab work that gave me an answer. It's just such a relief sometimes, just giving women an answer. They're like, most doctors think I'm crazy or it's in my head. And, women a lot of times are maybe prescribed an antidepressant, with no other reason. So once I figured out that there was a challenge and some problems, I had to figure out, well, how do I fix this naturally? So once again, doing more research and doing more education, I figured out different herbs and foods I could use to raise and lower hormones. And then within a year, everything was kind of back to normal, which is nice. And today I definitely have more energy. I feel better. Now I don't even know when my cycle's coming. I have to track it on an app. So cramps are gone.
For that.
the nice thing is there are so many things that we can do from a natural perspective to really bring balance to the body, which, that's my mission, to educate people on how they can do that naturally.
Yeah. So functional health, when I tell people functional health, a functional approach, even though I know they're kind of like, what does that mean? So just quickly go into about, I know it has to do, food, supplementation, rest, all of that kind of packaged in. So can we just touch on that really, really quickly? Sure. Just explain that to my listeners, just in your own words, what functional approach, all natural really would look like.
Yeah, functional for me really means that we're looking at how the body functions. Mm-hmm. Even in nutrition, we could use nutrition like drugs. If you've got a symptom, there are certain nutrients you could take to mitigate that symptom. Absolutely. If you are having constipation, you can take enough magnesium to make yourself poop. Mm-hmm. But has that fixed the reason why you have the constipation?
Right.
Not. It helped. So basically, you treated the condition like you would have used a drug.
Right.
Mm-hmm. To me, functional is really looking at why you have the constipation. Is it a lack of acid in the stomach? Is your gut flora, a train wreck? Do you have a leaky gut? Do you have some food allergies? Are you lacking some enzymes? Is your liver not functioning appropriately? And then really focusing on and fixing and healing that aspect, because then you won't need the magnesium to poop every day, because everything will be moving smoothly through the gut. So that's, I guess, how I would explain functionally how we can work with the body.
Great. I want to touch a little bit on your mission statement and you being big on helping women. That's being your focus, helping them maintain, helping them achieve their feminine balance, helping them achieve regain their feminine vitality, helping them feel sexy and confident in their own skin, helping them to improve their sexual health. So a lot of women have these issues. They have issues with their sexual health, their vitality, and a lot of that just pretty much has to do with hormones. Am I right, doctor?
Absolutely. And it's so, I think I've gravitated towards women more because I had those challenges. So I can speak from my experience when patients go to my website and read my story, they're like, oh my gosh, that's me. So I think there's some resonance there. I do see women or men and children, not just women too, but I think that because of my experiences, people tend to resonate with that. And I've been through it. I know what it's going to feel like. I know what to expect. I can really explain it to them. And there's just that, camaraderie, I guess, that comes with, having someone, a champion in your corner that's been through it, knows what to do and knows how to really walk you through the situation. And I think the biggest thing that I give my patients is hope, because they've been to so many other practitioners a lot of times that they haven't received an answer. And I'm a practitioner that can do a proper assessment and a deeper assessment generally, and really give them specific action steps they can take to start improving their health and feel better. And once you have a person that feels better, I mean, in the work that you do, when you feel better, you do better. When you feel better, you function better, you have more energy, you want to be a better mom, you want to be a better coworker, you want to be a better sibling. All these things start to happen when you start feeling your best.
Yeah, actually, I did a podcast put out yesterday, and I talked about that. I said, when you feel better inside and out, when you look better, your productivity's better. I said, you're a better coworker, you're a better mother, you're a better, a father, you're just a better person altogether because you feel great about you. And one thing I say to my clients, and, I say, I don't care about Gucci, Prada, Saint Laurent, and all that crap, big body Mercedes-Benz. But at the end of the day, when you don't have any of that on and you can't look at yourself in the mirror and feel confident and love yourself on the inside and out, those materials are fruitless. And that's pretty much one of my statements is take care of you and make sure you feel good about you. So doctor, that's very important, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And that was a perfect segue from yesterday's podcast. I love it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you really quickly, like with your work and what you do great stuff. I'm pretty sure you get up in the morning and you absolutely like love your job. That's like the best feeling in the world, to be actually doing something that you truly and you really love. That's what I tell a lot of people. What's what my brand is about, to chase your goals, chase your dreams, do things that you really want to do, make your own decisions. Don't be an autopilot person. Do things that are for you.
Absolutely.
How does it feel doing this work when you're helping people? I know we've had countless people say, Dr. Z, thank you, and they're really, really grateful to you. How does it feel? I know it's like a priceless feeling, but can you put that in your own words?
Yeah, it is. It's more of a feeling than wording. I mean, as I'm sure you probably know when you work with your clients. I can't even, it's indescribable almost, to a point where you just knowing you're giving people hope, you're giving them their life back. It's so empowering to be able to help women do that. You know, I help women, my patients, do that through the work that I do with them. I help the practitioners that work with me through giving them a space to really shine with their practice. I mean, just 2 days ago, it was 2 days ago, one of my patients, it was our second visit that we had. And when we were finishing up, she's already feeling better, a lot better. She's having some digestive issues, already feeling better. But as she left, she looked at me and she said, "Can I give you a hug?" And I said, "Of course, I love hugging. I'm a hugger." So I'm like, "Yes, bring it in." So I gave her a hug, and she kind of got teary eyed. And she says, "I just want to thank you because you take the time to listen and to really be there. And I feel really heard with you." And that really meant a lot to me. And I started getting a little teary eyed too. But it's little things like that mean the most to me in working with my patients.
Definitely. So, doctor, I know that as we get older, our bodies become high mileage. I tell people our bodies, when we get older, our 30s and 40s, I'm near my 40s, we become a high mileage vehicle, and our tune-ups and our oil changes are essential. They're not like optional. There's things that we definitely have to do. So what would you say to someone who's getting a little older, that's not taking care of themselves as much as they should, but they are listening to this podcast right now? What would you really say to them to get them kind of thinking about, like, hey, I need to at least think about it? Because I know there's like 5 stages. I know you're probably familiar with like the trans-theoretical theory for change. I touched on it yesterday, but what would you say to those people? Because people definitely got to make some changes. United States, we're pretty much the top for ailments. And the thing is that I really take issue with, is I feel like the government, I don't really feel they do enough to really put out enough awareness about these things. Like, you'll watch TV, you'll see billboards, and the billboards is all for, it's like big companies with a bunch of money, but they're not really promoting anything good. So what would you say to, people like that? Because again, people go through the path of least resistance, doctor. They kind of pick a guided path, and it kind of seems like you touched on it. People are busy, kids, sometimes people are working 2 jobs. So the guided path is just pretty much to just go down this road of not taking care of yourself and not investing in your nutrition, because it isn't really easy to do, but it's something that we have to do, right?
Yes, absolutely. First off, can I say that I love the high mileage analogy you have? Can I steal that? Can I use that? I like it.
I got you.
But I think sometimes we think that everything is all or nothing, where we're either eating perfectly all the time or it's all, donuts and fast food. And I think what I would love to impress upon your audience today is it doesn't have to be. And, I have patients, sometimes between appointments, they'll come back and they'll say, "Oh, I had a bad weekend, so I just didn't get back on the wagon." I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's okay to have a bad day. Just get back on." So I think the biggest thing that we could, encourage people is just do something every day that's investing in your health, whether it's going out for a walk with your kids or your dog, exercise, eating better. And once you start getting these habits into place, it's easier to add other habits. Sometimes I see some patients that are so fatigued, their adrenal glands are so adrenally fatigued that if I were to just throw out at them at the first visit, like, "Hey, I want you to go exercise too," there's no way in heck they'd be able to do that, because they don't have enough energy to even like make dinner. So I think it's starting with where people are at And once we get people feeling better, they're able to do more. So it's just putting little action steps into place daily that then compound, you get that compounded interest in your health. And over time, you'll be able to do more and feel better. And, once you start feeling good, you don't want to lose that. So typically people tend to, they like that feedback of feeling good and wanting to keep that.
Definitely. And before we end our show, I know you've definitely done some writing as well and some different various publications. What got you into that? What got you wanting to do that? Because you're putting that stuff out there, and a lot of people are reading that, they're listening to that, and it's educational pieces, stuff that can really impact lives. So how did you get involved in doing that, Doctor?
Yeah, I think it was more of just being able to spread the message of different ways to do things. Like you said, you typically see things, education coming out from major corporations and companies, and sometimes our government, which really sometimes doesn't mesh with holistic or organic living. So any way that I could use, whether it's writing the blogs that I write, I have different online programs on my websites, doing podcasts, any way that I can help get that information out there, because whoever's meant to hear this, they're going to hear that. And if it resonates with them, then hopefully they'll take those action steps in investing in their health.
Definitely. So before we get out of here for today, what would be some of your parting words for some of my listeners, some of my guests? I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of great positive comments on this one, especially from the females and the ladies as well. What would be some of your parting words for these ladies to start looking at their hormones, to help improve their vitality so they can get sexy and confident?
Yes, I think I have a couple. I think first off is just start doing something for yourself every day, whatever that looks like to you. So that's number one. Number two is going to be, if you are having some issues and you see a practitioner and what they tell you really doesn't resonate with how you're feeling, it's okay to get a second opinion. Just go out and search. Women, we are intuitive. We feel things in our gut. And if your gut just doesn't feel right about it, look for someone else. And three, if you are looking for someone else, look for someone that does functional nutrition, functional medicine. They're going to be able to get a little bit more specific and steer you in the right direction of some pretty specific action steps they can take. And if you have questions, they can email me, send me a message through my website. I'm happy to help or point people in the right direction. Anything that I can do to help, I'm absolutely willing to do so.
I'm pretty sure some of my guests will be reaching out to you. Dr. Z, how do they get in touch with you? I don't know if you do the Instagram thing, website,
I'm
email.
everywhere.
Oh, nice.
I'm Googleable.
Okay, can you get, okay.
The best place is probably my website. It's drzagaggen.com. That's DRZGRAGGEN.com. But I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You guys can find me. Oh yeah, I got TikTok recipes. I got the most precious dog. She is a Shar-Pei pug. She's on the TikTok.
Oh, wow. I'm going to check you out on TikTok.
Excellent. I will follow you back, sir.
Okay, you got it. Dr. Z, Dr. Zagaggen, it's been an honor and a privilege having you on the Invest podcast. Dr. Z, clinical nutritionist. It's been a blast. I want you to enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you.